to challenge and then stand over the iPad like a concerned child, waiting for
Dave
the
Cameron
wiggles to come back
confirmed
on.
iPad kid.
Stick talk. 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 Stick talk.
And
Hockey.
Hockey.
Yes, sir.
Welcome back, everyone. This is episode 91 of Stick Talk Hockey. As always, I'm your host, Tico. This is my co-host.
I'm yours truly.
There's our producer.
Producer Jay.
And we are here in the new year, 2025, first episode of the year.
Ringing it in style.
Indeed, we are. And do we have a lot to talk about this week?
Oh, buddy. Have you sharpened your knives?
Isn't that crazy that, like, the last episode came out, like the last time we recorded, the World Juniors hadn't started.
That is actually incredibly crazy.
Canada's already out.
But we're not shocked. I mean,
No.
we predicted that
Well,
Like a month
we did
ago.
predict this.
when they first put out the list. And then we were like, why didn't you invite Perek or Yakimchuk or
Misa,
Crystal?
Crystal,
Uh,
a lot of them.
yeah, there's a lot.
Did you see them liking posts?
I did. I did. I
About
saw
Canada.
the sauce.
Yeah.
The petty is real.
Yeah. But I don't even think it's all that petty,
No, I don't think so either.
right? Like they got left off. They got rejected against Hockey Canada's better judgment, clearly. And now they're sitting at home laughing about it, and they should be.
They absolutely should be. And what's crazy to me about this is like how much it's trying to be downplayed.
Yeah.
By media outlets still.
Absolutely.
And it's like, no, but like you don't know how bad this is when it's not like just a public sentiment, because
Mm-hmm.
the public just talk, you know?
Yeah.
We're
yeah,
loud.
yeah.
People who know puck through
Mhm.
and through.
Mhm.
It's their freaking job to
Mhm.
have said how atrocious this team is when looking at what was available.
Yeah.
That can't go understated.
No.
That every other expert that isn't in a Team Canada sweater right now was like, wow, that's bizarre. What a bad choice.
Yeah. Absolutely. And here we are. You know, we're recording this Friday night, right before the semis, and the day before the semis, 2 days before the medal games, and Canada's already gone home. And just baffling decision after baffling decision the entire time. From the original roster construction to the deployment of players on the ice to Dave Cameron canceling practices and morning skates between the US game and the quarterfinal. They didn't skate once.
Like, what is up with that? Well, how do you expect a group of kids who have never played together to gel in a week with zero practice?
Jay, can you pull up his quote about that actually? Because he did speak on it. They asked him about it. Just search Dave Cameron practice quote.
Not a game.
We talking about
Practice.
Yeah, that's it right there. Dave Cameron on why the team didn't practice more. Quote, because we were exhausted. There's no system for tired hockey players. Excuse me?
Huh?
Where, first of all, this dude is just killing it with the awful quotes this entire tournament. But, I mean, first of all, they're teenagers. How are they exhausted? Second of all, they're the home team. How are they not fresher than every other team in this tournament that flew from the Czech Republic and Latvia and Kazakhstan?
Yeah. Like, you don't have jet lag. What are y'all talking about right now?
Like, for real. And granted, like, I am Czech. I'm trying to get my Czech citizenship.
Attaboy.
But I was so cheering for them. Like, and I always cheer for Canada. I do. But, like, especially, like, at the beginning of that game, I made my mini protest when I went to work that day, okay? Canada was playing. I always wear something Canada, But I was like, I'm not wearing anything Hockey Canada. I'll support the country. I'll wear Canada something, but I'll wear my Canada soccer hat. That's my mini protest. Yes, I know Canada soccer. We can get into our own stuff about that. But
Yeah.
whatever. But then as soon as that game started, I was like, I don't like this team. I knew I didn't like this team, but I kind of want them gone now.
Yeah.
And as that game went on and we got to the end and they tied it up, I was like, they don't deserve to win this game.
No, they got outchanced, they got outbattled, they got outworked for 40 minutes.
They deserved to lose, and I was actually quite happy that they did. Like, that team stunk.
Yeah, with a capital S.
And, like, I'm not trying to make this into, like, just roasting 16-year-olds, 17-year-olds, 18-year-olds here, because, like, I don't even really blame the players.
No, and I also wanted to make that clear. Like, let's not
Yes.
get it confused. These kids tried their hardest.
Absolutely, they did. I know people are dunking on, like certain players who had bad tournaments, and like Easton Cowan. I get it. I don't. Has anyone tanked their draft stock as hard as he has since like Jake Virtanen?
No, talk about a Christmas gift, eh?
Right?
Or like Gibson, for example.
Sure.
Like, public enemy number one, essentially, but like unjustly.
Exactly. Like, I get it. You can always like criticize a player's performance when we're talking about a big stage like that. But my problem with this team and the reason they stunk is not the players that were on the ice. It's everything else around them: coaching, management, organizationally, top to bottom. It's a disaster. And I pray that this was the wake up call.
I hope to God. I'm getting so sick of watching this. Like, it's so obvious that there's more at play than just who's the best available anymore. It's so obvious that everyone has their own stakes that they're trying to claim and their own shareholder interests. And it's like, just put together a good team.
It reminds me, like, there's front offices that do this in the NHL too, where they think that they're smarter than everyone else. Hockey Canada has this
Arrogance?
expectation of excellence.
Yes.
And that's in all of the players, right? That's what they say they expect. And I think that they've gotten so arrogant that they think that it applies to the management as well, that they think they're so much more big brains than everyone else. And last year, they came out of that tournament fairly successfully, not because they big brained it, right? They did it like despite the fact that they tried to big brain it.
Yeah, I mean, they just couldn't outthink talent,
Exactly.
which is great.
And this year they tried the same thing, I think.
And they just outthought their talent.
It's so stupid. I want to bring this back around because we're going to talk about another thing later where it's like, just do the normal smart thing and everything will be fine.
Yeah. And to spin back around again, like, this isn't on the players because this, like, they did their best. This is entirely on the organization, like you said, because they put them in this situation.
Absolutely.
They gave them the team with no chemistry. They gave them a coach that doesn't believe you need a practice before a game. What?
Before like a playoff game at that.
Because you're tired in Canada?
As an 18-year-old.
Like, bruh, cut me a break. You can't be serious right now. That's insane.
It was a disaster. And then the penalties, people were mad about the penalties, the late kneeing penalty and stuff like that. But when you take so many throughout a tournament, you lose the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, real quick.
And it was just so fitting for them to see them go out on a penalty.
100%. And I mean, like, the thing that baffled me so much about, like, listening to Canadian fans bitch and moan.
Yeah.
It's not the ref's fault.
No.
It's not. And I know that they wouldn't call that in the NHL. But you know what? International play is super different.
It's different.
It's very different.
I'm so with you. I have no idea why. Every single year, I feel like people go lunatic over the refs. And it's like, but this is how they ref international hockey. This is the way the game is refed in international hockey every single year. And it's far more consistent than NHL refing is.
100%. And yeah, unfortunately, like the other narrative is, oh, Canada gets punished for playing Canadian hockey. No,
Good
Canada gets
God.
punished because Canadian hockey is inherently not suited for international play, the same way international play is not suited for North American hockey.
Yeah.
The only difference between Canada and the US is that the US are actually able to apply themselves and adapt.
Yeah.
And they have coaching that can work on a game plan that transfers over.
And the national development program.
And that too. I mean, like, hey, I would have no problem if Dave Cameron canceled the practice, if we had a national development program that practiced routinely in the summer.
Yeah, and we knew that these guys had played together and had chemistry. Yeah.
And had been in tournaments and
Yeah.
had been seasoned the way that we know
Yes.
all of these. And look at how elite the talent out of the States has been
Yeah.
in the last 4 or 5 years since
Yeah.
this program really, really took off.
Yeah.
Come on, man. How can you watch someone do something so successfully and then just stick to your guns while failing not even upward half the time?
I gotta wonder if this is the year that they finally see something. Just because they didn't even like come close to getting away with it. You know what I mean? They got embarrassed by the Americans. They lost to Latvia. Shout out to Latvia. What a game. I was so happy to see them win that game. That was their gold medal. It was fantastic.
Yeah, and shout out their goalie.
Absolutely.
What a
Phenomenal.
performance.
However, like Canada, you lost to Latvia.
And
You know?
we were expecting an 8-0 game.
Yes.
And that's a little on us. We're entitled. We grew up, like Frege said earlier, or no, maybe it was Bukowskis, sipping the Kool-Aid
Sure.
in the 05 to 09 run.
I
It's
mean,
like-
yeah, it's phenomenal.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
How can you not talk about it
Of course.
and always remember that and feel that that should be the mark you set?
Yes.
But everything was run differently then. You had like the best players available at any time. And also the game was so much different.
Yeah, it was.
You could have Phaneuf trucking guys.
Yep.
And newsflash, Phaneuf got tossed too.
Yeah. Yeah.
He got chucked out of that tournament
Yeah,
as well. So
he
I
did.
don't know what to tell you, Canadian fans, but
Yeah.
like that's not how you play internationally.
No.
And let's talk about that asinine challenge.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so I didn't like there was audio on where I was, but I couldn't hear it. So I didn't know what the challenge was actually for. And I was watching it and I was like, what the hell is this guy challenging on this goal?
Yeah. Well, I was watching it and everyone was upset about it right away. They were like, "Oh, where's the penalty shot? Where's that's not goaltender interference. He was pushed in." It's like, "Oh, Christ, have we not learned anything this year?"
Right?
We've been over this like at least 40 times. I don't know what goalie interference is. I don't know what goalie. Dog, you entered the blue on your own fruition with your own momentum.
Yes.
Whether he pushed you or not, you were going through the goalie.
Yes.
That's goalie interference.
I know. And I was thankful because I messaged the group chats and I was like, what is this penalty for? And everyone said, what is this challenge for? And everyone said, I have no idea. And I was like, okay, I'm glad we're all on the same page here. What's going on?
Yeah. The other thing is, like, as much as the NHL and international are different, there's one thing that remains, like, hand over fist the same. The evidence has to be conclusive for you to overturn
Yes.
a call on the ice. There's no way.
I mean, that's the same across pretty much all sports, no?
Yeah, it
Yeah.
has to be conclusive to be overturned.
Yeah,
It
there's
can't
no,
be
like
no doubt in your mind, not a fraction of a doubt. There's no way that you're winning that. And I mean, to have the audacity when they already went back and reviewed a kneeing call that was more of a thigh-in call,
Yeah.
Like, the first kneeing call probably should have gotten something, but 5 in a game, probably not.
That was 5 in a game was a lot. I agree.
It was a lot, but
Yeah.
we could agree it probably deserved something.
Sure.
But you know how they're reffing this now.
Yes.
You know how they're calling it.
Yeah, you do.
It's hard, fast, and down the middle.
Yeah.
If you have to watch the replay on your frickin' iPad on the bench
Over and over and over.
after you challenged it, you f***ed up.
Yep.
You should, without a doubt in the world, look at that, go, I'm challenging that right now. That's a goal. And then not look back at it because you know, and your video coach in your ear, up in the booth, knows that that's a goal. To challenge and then stand over the iPad look like a concerned child waiting for
Dave
the
Cameron
wiggles to come back on.
confirmed iPad kid.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
what are we like? Oh my god, my
Like,
stomach dropped
I don't blame you.
as soon as they said they're challenging. I was like, oh, we're fucked. They're good. There it goes.
I never want to see this guy behind a Team Canada bench again.
No, who was it? It was one of the hosts on Sportsnet 1440. He was slipped a note from an AHL scout that said, I wouldn't let Dave Cameron run a McDonald's at 3 a.m.
Did say that.
Woof.
Yeah. And I mean, honestly, that's kind of disrespectful because McDonald's is a well-oiled machine.
And they have like quality control, you know?
Yeah, they do.
And the other thing that, like, you know, I never understood in this process from Hockey Canada is, like you said, they have this bar of excellence.
Yeah.
And they demand it from their players.
So they say.
But, like, there's just no excellence to be held at a managerial level or in any office capacity.
No, see, I truly believe that the problem with Hockey Canada is that I don't know the exact number of things, but they put way too many things above performance.
Yep.
Even with this excellence thing that they seem to have both internally and project externally, it's like you look at the roster construction, the coaching, the management, and it's just like politics, quote unquote character that took all of these penalties. Prestige, all of these things seem to come before the actual excellence does.
Yeah. And it's like,
If you don't prioritize the excellence won't stay.
No. And if you don't condition yourself to stay excellent, you will fall off.
Yes. And they are falling off.
They have fallen off.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know, like I intern in an office in like for a WHL team. And like even I have a grasp of understanding that if we ask our players to come to every practice and put their everything into every practice and every line rush, that you should be doing the same from an office level.
Yes.
And I just find it hard to believe that they're doing that anymore.
They're not.
I just don't see it. I refuse to at this point because like
I agree. You're right.
I just don't know how you can expect these kids to like wear the loss and put their heart on their sleeve and, you know, play for the crest and not the name on the back when you're already like jockeying for position with someone else and playing hardball because of interleague politics and geographical favoritism. It just makes no sense.
So moving past Canada for a second, outside of them, standouts through the tournament? Anyone that wasn't on your radar that is now, or just someone who was already on your radar that was out of their mind?
Like prospects
Anyone.
or teams? Because like Finland is just as good as I expected Finland to be.
Yeah.
But they're way deeper than I expected.
Finland's been a little bit of a tale of two teams for me. There's been times where I've watched them and not seen that patented Finland grit, but they are incredibly deep. I expect the Swedes to beat them tomorrow. Like, I don't think they're good enough to get past them.
That's very fair. I honestly haven't been very moved by the Swedes aside from Axel Sandin Pellikka.
I think Sweden's a little bit deeper than Finland. I've liked their lineup all the way through. Sandy Pellikka has been phenomenal, but I think that he's the difference maker for me. Where Finland is very deep, but I don't think they have like star power. I don't think they have someone that can break a game wide open the same way someone like a Sandin Pellikka can. And honestly, Tom Willander has been so good for them. I don't think that Finland has a defender like him either.
That's super valid, honestly. I think the defense is definitely lacking
Yeah.
on the Finnish side. I do like their goaltending, though.
I do
I
as
really
well.
like
Yeah.
their goaltending on that,
Yeah.
that matchup. Another player that struck me as like a really, really solid player, and this one's very obvious for a lot of people as well, but I just slept on him. Dvorsky.
Dalibor Dvorsky. Fantrax, owner of him. Very,
kid can
very happy
game.
with his tournament. Yeah.
He can game.
He is a what's the quote? Gamer.
Yeah, he is the real deal.
Yeah,
I was
he's
very
had a very
impressed.
good tournament.
Saleh was very good.
Saleh's been very good. Yeah.
Anyone who's been on your radar that like has been
Well, I mean, Ryan Leonard was already on my radar. We all know how good Ryan Leonard is, captain of the Americans, and again, I also own him in the Fantrax League, so I was keeping a very keen eye on him, and he's just impressed me at every turn, which I expected. Loving watching him right now. And that Matejko from Latvia, I mean, scores the game winner against Canada, 6 goals in the tournament, more than any Canadian.
let's go.
Ends up, finishing out the tournament against what was that, Germany? They won.
Yeah, to avoid relegation.
He had 2 goals in that game too. He played out of his mind. 3rd round pick to the Caps, I think. I'm gonna be keeping an eye on him for sure.
No, fair.
Yeah.
Definitely. Archers, Gross,
Yes,
Kazakhstan.
actually seems like a player. Yeah.
Yeah. When he scored that first goal and it was like, their first goal of the tournament, I was like, it was really weak.
Yeah.
He just battled really hard and pushed you under a pad. I was like, yeah, that's cute.
Sure.
No, this kid could play. I tuned in a little more and like, yeah, he's got a shot. He's got some
he
wheels.
does have a shot.
Like, I was really impressed actually.
Yeah, that's totally fair. No, he had himself a good tournament, and I mean, it's a little bit hard to tell, right? When you're playing for Kazakhstan, it's like, are you good or just better than everyone around you? But I
Mhm.
think he's actually pretty good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that he definitely held up on the one-on-one situations where
Mhm.
it's like, okay, you can handle your own.
All right, so I think we should put the World Juniors aside for now. We're not even through the tournament yet, right? We're just through Canada.
No, yeah, I'm done chewing out Canada for now.
Yeah. Do you have a champion prediction?
I'm gonna take the Czechs.
Wow.
Yeah, underdog story.
I can't tell you how much I dearly love that. I would love nothing more.
Feel really good about that team. Like they play a really great system right now.
They play so hard. Yeah. I'm gonna take the Swedes. My brain wants to take the Americans. I think the Americans, they're big, they're fast, they're strong, they're talented. I get it. But I like my Swedes. I'm a Vancouver boy at heart. Tom Willander, Canucks prospect. I'm very excited on him. I really want to see them do it. So for that reason, I'm gonna pick the Swedes. Jay, do you got a team?
I would have to go with Team USA as a very huge casual.
Yeah, that's fair.
To be fair, I should be choosing USA, but that's incredibly boring.
No,
And-
but I'm glad we all have a different team here.
And the Czechs really won me over. Like,
Yeah. I'm a big fan of that team.
they just play such an effortless brand of hockey, and it's so quick.
It is quick. That's okay. That's not you. We're not here like, but we're not putting $1,000 on this or anything. We're just making our picks. I'm glad you stuck your stake in the Czechs. I'm sticking my stake in the Swedes. Jonesy can have his stupid American.
Jesus. Lord have mercy.
Hey, whoa. Okay, so speaking of dumb things, the Winter Classic happened this week.
Did it?
Yeah.
I'm playing. I know it did, but
No, I know.
so
Yeah, there was another Winter Classic at Wrigley Field. The Chicago Blackhawks, for the 5th time, took on the Winter Classic against the St. Louis Blues this time. To the surprise of absolutely no one, they got stomped out 5-1 for their 5th loss in as many games in the Winter Classic. Haven't won a single Winter Classic. Yeah, so
That's actually a crazy stat.
yeah,
Really?
yeah,
Wow.
ain't that something?
That really is something.
So this was a disaster, right? First of all, I'm gonna run a clip of the freaking anthem. Did you see the anthem?
I didn't.
Unbelievable national anthem. Okay, look. The national anthem last year was phenomenal. We were there. Obviously, we talked about that. They had this 14-year-old on the guitar. Have you ever heard Jimi Hendrix's U.S. anthem?
Yeah.
On the electric guitar. So he was basically doing like a rendition of that on the electric guitar, with the fireworks and the helicopters. Crazy, right?
America.
And then they got this dude this time, Jim Cornelius or something. This guy sang his heart out. He's a legend of Chicago. It was awesome, and the only cool thing about the entire event.
Don't say that. When the worst part of like any event is the best part.
I know the national anthem was the highlight of the event for me. If anyone ever tells you that the national anthem was the highlight of an event they saw, it was an awful event.
That's brutal.
I'm telling you.
Could you imagine paying for those tickets and being like, yeah, the anthem was cool?
And that's the thing, right? You know, speaking of the tickets, can you pull up Taylor Hall's comments there, Jay? I have the link here. Taylor Hall looked on the verge of tears in the locker room. This is from Ben Pope on Twitter/X. I'm shocked at how we played, quote, it's really disappointing. Our fans have been through so much this year, and they really came and supported us today. For us to lay an egg like that, I'm really sad for the people that support us. Taylor, it's not your fault.
You got set up, dude.
It's a trap.
It's a trap.
Why? Like, the NHL set you up to fail. You're just bad. Your team's bad. You're supposed to be bad. You're rebuilding. It's okay. Just be bad. Everything's okay until you put them on a national stage in an outdoor game and charge ridiculous amount for tickets, and then it's a disaster, and you get stomped 5-1, as you just should. You're bad.
Yeah, it's embarrassing. It's the same thing that happened to these kids at Team Canada. Like, it's not your fault that you got set up for failure. You played exactly how we expected you to play, which is fine.
Yeah.
It's not your fault that you're suddenly being held to a standard that is far over your head. Like,
and then they wanted to not battle with college football this year because ratings have been down, and there was 3 college football playoff games on New Year's Day. It's on New Year's Day every year, so they move it to New Year's Eve, one day back, and then it's like in this weird smorgasbord of all the other NHL games that day, where it's like, I think we've talked about this on the pod before. NHL fans aren't like NFL fans, where they're going to watch every single game besides the diehards. They're going to watch their team. So if their team is on when the Winter Classic's on, they're not going to watch the Winter Classic.
Yeah.
And then also, like, Team Canada was playing at 4, and the Winter Classic started at like 2:30. Like, what are you doing?
also, like, it's a nationally broadcasted game, and you you start at 2?
2 o'clock on New Year's Eve.
Like, people be working, dog. Like, what do you mean?
It's not a holiday.
No.
People
like,
are either working or like in the festivities of their New Year's Eve night.
or they're at local events already, because like the Royals had a matinee game at 2.
Sure.
I thought it was going to be empty. It was packed.
Right.
It was absolutely loaded. We filled the barn. It was incredible.
Yeah, like people are doing things.
But
That's why we fought about this last year, because you said New Year's Day was dumb because everyone's hungover.
I'm going to miss it anyways.
But and maybe it is, but I still think that's better than New Year's Eve when like people are out. Like New Year's Day, at least, like you have more people that are going to be hungover and just like are going to turn on a TV. You know what I mean?
I think both are terrible ideas.
I don't disagree with that.
I think that like like, look, hockey players get paid a shitload of money, and I get that. But there are just some days that should just be stats for everyone, and like, I want to hear shit about it.
I don't know. You know what I honestly think?
Like-
I think it should be Christmas Eve.
Yeah,
One game, Christmas Eve, daytime. Sure, if you want to do it 2 p.m. Christmas Eve.
And-
most people are gonna kids are gonna be out of school to watch it, things like that, and you could really lean into that outdoor Christmassy snowy vibe. I think people would like that.
yeah. And you know what? Like, if you're worried about the players, feeling away about having to play on Christmas Eve or being away from the families,
Mhm.
bring the families.
Yeah, make it a thing.
Make it a thing. Rent the whole hotel. Like, you're already working in conjunction with these massive corporations. You
Yeah.
think they can't bend a couple of straws and make a couple calls to get you a few extra rooms? Like, come
Of course
on
they
now.
can. Of course they can.
Yeah, like Kevin McAllister ended up in the penthouse on Christmas Day.
Yeah.
Let's be real here. Like,
And I wouldn't advocate for players to play on Christmas Day. I know that they do in the NBA and they do in the NFL.
I hate that.
I know. I don't think that's a necessity personally.
No.
But like, I don't know. Most of us have to work Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
Like,
I work Christmas Eve till noon.
Yeah.
Like,
That doesn't strike me as like the players can't do it thing, you know?
yeah, and like, bring the families together. Like,
Make it a cool thing.
yeah, make it cool. Have like dining hall for all the the 2 teams, and then like one conjoined one where everyone
Yeah.
can go and mingle and have presents for the kids, or
Mhm.
like, make it an experience instead of just a game.
So I want to talk about Elliot Friedman a little bit for a second.
'Kay.
He's talked about the Winter Classic quite a bit over this week. One of the things he was wondering was, looking ahead to next year, could they do something like a Penguins Capitals? Could they do something down south? And now it seems like we'll get the announcement. Hopefully, by the time that you're hearing this episode, whether it's the day it comes out or a couple days after, hopefully we'll find out for sure where this Winter Classic is going to be. Elliot Friedman alluding to there being 2 outdoor games next year in Florida. Yeah, you heard that right. In Florida, USA. Neither of them being Florida Tampa, like Florida against Tampa. One being Florida against someone else and another being Tampa against someone else, which is the genuinely dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life.
That's crazy.
If you're going to try one, yes, okay. If you wanted to try the Battle of Florida, it's not going to work. You struggled with the ice when it was 2 degrees in Seattle. You're not going to be able to make it work in 21 degrees, which is what it averages in Florida around New Year's.
I'm thrilled for them to host another half-hour segment before it where they talk about all their special technology and massive improvements to ice surface just for it to turn into a frickin' puddle again. Like,
And then on top of that, like seriously, the 2 of you, what's a Tampa outdoor game not against Florida that you'd be excited for? Give me like an opponent. Thank you. That's what I thought. No, I'm
Toronto.
I'll let you list.
maybe.
Yeah?
But that's only because I like watching Toronto fans suffer, so like that's not
Valid.
really a valid reason at the end of the day.
Jay?
I got nothing. Cause like Tampa,
Right?
They're boring.
Like, what are we doing here?
Yeah, no. And if we are going to do a Florida Winter Classic, instead of forcing ice into the hottest place you could possibly do it, how about you just bring some fake palm trees and do a set design? Like, just have an outdoor game that looks like it has a beach around it. Also, like, why are we leaning so hard into Florida? Florida sucks.
Look, you're not wrong. Elliot Friedman nailed it when he wondered about Penguins Capitals. They won. That's 100%, without a question in anyone's mind, should be the Winter Classic next year.
Yeah.
One final send-off for Sid Novi. Put Sid in the baby blue jersey one last time and then never wear it again.
Yep.
Put Ovi in the Screaming Eagle.
No, put him in the white one
Sure.
with the red stick and the L and like the vintagey looking one.
I think that's their current away, right?
It is, but
But
it was
make
like
it
it was
more-
more like
yeah,
retro-y.
sure.
You know the one I'm talking about.
Just do that. Like, this is the same problem that Canada has. Hockey Canada. Why the are you looking at something that's gone so horrifically because you keep trying to galaxy brain it and going, let's go more galaxy brain. Hockey in Florida. What are you thinking? You have just do things that make sense. Go to Minnesota. The city would love it. The team would love it. The team is good. You have lots of matchups that you could put against Minnesota, whether you want to do Winnipeg or I don't know, who else is in the Central? That's their rival. Who am I thinking of right now?
Colorado.
Colorado, yes. Give me a Minnesota-Colorado Winter Classic. Both those, tell me that wouldn't sell.
Be phenomenal. It sounds like an amazing game.
But
Find me
no.
a nice outdoor scenic place in Mini.
Oh, wouldn't that be something?
It'd be gorgeous.
But no, we're going to get Tampa, Carolina
Or
on
do
New
it-
Year's Day.
Do it on a ski hill. That'd be cool. If you're gonna do something so crazy and out of this world and galaxy brain it, like you said, why don't you try and make it a movie? Like make it
Yeah.
like a video game. Like when we played Shell and you load into the drop-ins for 3v3.
Yeah.
You're playing on a mountain at
Yeah.
a ski resort. Like it's freaking cool.
That looks cool.
Like
You're not wrong. Yeah.
we don't care about stadiums anymore. It's boring. The outdoor game is boring. You milked
So
both
boring.
of those things to death. Find a way to make it interesting. Pond hockey. Find a good pond that is real nice and solid. Modify a pond.
Yeah.
Like bring back the shinny game. Put some boards up there. There's so much you could do that isn't this.
Just don't do dumb things.
Well, and
Just use this. What's the quote from The Office, Jay? You tried using the smart part of your brain?
it's a good one.
Hockey live. Absolutely nothing beats it. The thrill of a game in person, crashing against the boards, pucks off the glass. It's phenomenal. And if you're looking to catch a game, check out Game Time for tickets. The Game Time app has you covered for everything you need with tickets. They've got super deals, they've got seat views before you buy, lowest price guarantees, event cancellation protection, job loss protection, and even more. And that's not even including Game Time picks, a curation system that makes it even easier to save more on sports, concerts, comedy, theater, and more. Coming up this week, a little throwback for you. Sum 41 at Rogers Arena. You can find tickets for as low as $104. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time picks. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code THPN for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code THPN for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game time. Playoffs? We're talking about playoffs? You bet we are. Get in on the action at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Scoring touchdowns is key to winning in the playoffs, and you can score big by betting on them at DraftKings, the #1 place to bet touchdowns. Ready to place your first bet? Try betting on something simple like a player to score 6. Go to the DraftKings Sportsbook app and make your pick. Coming up on Sunday, Green Bay and the Eagles. I'm really looking forward to that game. You can find Saquon Barkley anytime touchdown score at -175. Josh Jacobs anytime touchdown score -115. Lines and odds obviously subject to change. New DraftKings customers can bet $5 to get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code THPN. That's code THPN for new customers to get $200 in bonus bets instantly when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, 21 and over. Age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in New Hampshire, Oregon, and Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/ftball. NFL Plus premium offer available only to new and former NFL Plus subscribers. Additional NFL Plus premium terms at nfl.com/terms.
I don't know. It's just dumb. And I don't know if you saw it on the Instagram. I replied to your you sent the lowest viewership ever.
Oh, yep.
Jonesy sent me the day of the Winter Classic. I cannot wait for tomorrow. When we get the lowest viewership ever. This thing sucks.
Winner, winner, chicken
Ding,
dinner.
ding, ding.
The soothsayer back at it again.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
my last thing on this is just like, if you can't do something that's really easy, right?
Hmm?
Why the fuck do you think you could do something 10 times as difficult? Like,
And get it more right.
yeah, like,
Yeah.
and do it excellent. Like,
Yeah.
if you can't add and subtract, you're going to fuck up bed mass.
Yeah.
I'm certainly not going to ask you to do trigonometry.
Yeah, no doubt.
Huh? What?
That's so ridiculous. And it's a shame because I think people have become so disillusioned with the Winter Classic that there's just not a care in the world about it. And I do understand that. But I actually, like, I would miss it if it was gone. If they just would stick to, like, good things. I don't know. Like, you know what I mean? I'd always look back at that New York Philly one and be like, dang, I wish the NHL still did cool stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's just that, like I don't want it to disappear. I just want them to stop being morons. Is that so much to ask? Like, I feel like I'm taking crazy pills.
No. Like, I was going to say, like, I feel like an immense amount of, like, personal value. And, like, I enjoy Winter Classics
Yeah.
and Stadium Series. I remember when they were cool.
Yeah.
I remember when we got that first snow game and they had to bring out the shovels every 10 minutes
Electric.
to clear the ice. And, like,
Yes.
that was fire.
Yeah.
That was so cool. It was a moment. Or, like, the Calgary snow game,
Yeah.
which was a few years later. Like,
Yeah.
that was also so cool.
Heritage Classic, yeah.
Like, it doesn't have to be top-notch bells and whistles and, like, overthought nonsense to the extreme. Just give us a quality game that means something
Yes.
and give us atmosphere. We just want the atmosphere.
Yep.
It's so nice when you just do that.
100%.
Just stop with the gimmicks. Like, you don't need to make the sport gimmicky. Hockey's awesome.
It is. 100%.
That's the thing I think the NHL office actually fucks up the most on.
Mhm.
Is that they just don't believe in their own sport.
Yeah.
Look
Yeah.
at basketball. Look at football. Look at how they carry themselves. Look at how they present their game. The amount of thought process, planning, and, like, execution that goes into, like, all the extra shit that happens at a hockey game is insane enough. Like, it's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And then to, like, extrapolate that into a larger, like, degree for the NHL, it's just like, why? Why would you want to task yourself with that when you already had a great product? Like, if I give you champagne and then you add ice to it, I'm gonna be pissed.
Right.
You know?
I get
Like-
what you're saying.
Like, you're not making a deluxe champagne. You're just
Yeah.
making a watered down.
I gotta say that having the Winter Classic on Christmas Eve,
Yeah.
is a banger idea.
It's a vibe.
Thank you.
Cause like, yeah, the vibe, the setting is perfect. But like, we literally saw firsthand this year, like Christmas Eve, like, yeah, we're doing things, but we had San Jose State
Yeah. Against South Florida.
against South Florida, the Hawaiian Bowl.
The Hawaii Bowl. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. That was the only thing on all day.
you know how many other people are probably in the same boat?
Yeah.
And like, you know how many like non-hockey fans would probably just throw on the hockey game because it'd be the only sports game.
Yes.
That's a heater idea.
Thank you.
Because it has like Christmas vibes. Like people just want atmosphere.
That's what I'm like, and that's the thing too, right? There's no sports 100%, so you're getting that, and then you're gonna keep people because you know what? It feels Christmassy already, and then if you just Christmassy it up a little bit more, it would be an immediate Christmas tradition vibe.
Give me the panel talking in front of a Yule log.
Yes. Would it not like immediately be like Christmas tradition? Watch the Winter Classic on Christmas Eve. What a vibe!
Absolutely. It would replace the night before for me, which is a great movie, by the way.
Yeah, great movie. I mean, I watched that San Jose game go to 5 overtimes on Christmas Eve. It's insanity.
Woof.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, like, yeah, it's unpioneered time. Like, it just exists in this realm of nothingness. And quite frankly, like, yeah, we're all with our families typically or busy doing festive stuff.
Sure.
But you always have the TV on in the background to do something anyways.
Totally. Yeah.
That's still a win.
Still a win.
A view is a view is a view.
I'm telling you, if next year they did Penguins Capitals Christmas Eve game, sit in the baby blue, it would be the most watched Winter Classic in a decade plus.
Absolutely. And that's like such a brilliant concept. You can galaxy brain it and not fuck it up at all because it's so true to its core.
See, and that's the thing, right? It's one thing to like go crazy with stuff when the core is solid.
Yeah.
It's another thing to go crazy with the core and then like have to try and fix that the entire time.
Yeah, exactly. Like
Yeah,
if
I
you
don't know.
never started from a good building base, then
Yeah.
what are you doing, you know?
I think we should move on from the Winter Classic just because like we've spent way too much time on a game that nobody cared about. But
Yeah, this is our bitch fest.
yeah, it is. This is what this episode is.
Everyone's like, New Year's resolutions, starting the year off with peace and joy, and I'm turning over a new leaf, and we're just like, burn it.
We came here to hate,
Yeah,
and we got more negativity to get to. We're gonna put it at the end though.
the hater cast continues. We're undefeated.
Speaking of Sid though, real quick, I just wanted to touch on he broke the Penguins' all-time assists record.
God, I love to see that.
Awesome stuff, surpasses Mario Lemieux, and just the weird numbers they always continue with him. That puts him exactly 87 points away from tying him all time for points.
Get out. Why?
Ain't that something? It's so hard to like laugh about his superstitions when like things like that just keep happening.
Yeah, at a certain point, you're just like, yeah, you know what? 8.7. Sign it.
Yeah, you know what? At a certain point, Sid, you're right. There's something weird going on with you, dude.
His agent had the contract already typed up.
Yeah. You and that number and the devil have a deal somewhere. I don't know what it is, but yeah, I thought that was really interesting.
That's so cool. And yeah, a great segue from talking about the Winter Classic to Crosby.
Yeah, 100%. This one, next one is not a segue. We're going to Mackenzie Blackwood. I think that's crazy. They gave him a 5-year, $5.2 million extension
Yeah,
right out the gate.
that's bold. He only played like 3 games for him too, right?
I think this is really
Yeah.
now like I like Colorado bringing him in, like trading for him
Yeah, me too.
a lot.
Yeah.
But like I feel like Mackenzie Blackwood could be lights out, unreal.
Mhm.
This year, you could you could win the cup,
Yes.
and I don't think that his contract would look like much different than this. Like I don't think Mackenzie Blackwood would play himself into like $7 million
That's
in 1 year.
actually so valid.
100%.
Yeah, you like for real, he could carry them to the 3rd round this year, and he probably wouldn't get more than that. So why would you give him that after 3 games?
My issue with this is like, for all intents and purposes, is he not a parable to the goalie they just had in Gorgiev? Like, this is almost the exact same path they took last time, where they find a guy, he looks
Gorgiev was-
good enough. They're like, yeah, good, slap it on.
How
make it
did
work.
they come across Gorgiev though? Can we look at his career path? Just go to his DB.
Well, he was a Ranger before.
Okay.
He was ass.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah. No, I have a take. I did not realize. I forgot about this career path. So, did he get traded there in a contract year?
Yes. Or
Did he
no.
get traded? For a 5th and a 3rd. So okay, so yeah, you're absolutely right, and like I'm just putting together now that like this is exactly what they did for Georgiev, right? They like were like, oh, we like this goalie that hasn't been good in this other place, but we believe in. We're gonna trade for him and give him a contract, except they gave him a 3-year by 3 whatever contract. Now it's gone terribly. You've burned yourself with this. And so you like double down and do it even harder on Mackenzie Blackwood, who's like maybe a higher caliber. You hope. We haven't seen the higher caliber from him in quite a while, except on a pretty rough San Jose team.
Yeah, and I mean, like, you know, when you're facing 50 shots a night,
Of course, like,
just let him hit you at some point.
but it's really hard to gauge a goalie off that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, and I mean, when you see so many high danger chances, it's like, is this guy really clutch in the cut, or is he just, you know, getting lucky on 20% of the shots he faces that are high danger?
Sub 900 since 2020 for Mackenzie Blackwood. And so now you double down on the Georgiev thing, where you trade for this goalie that's maybe misaligned in the market, or you think is misaligned in the market, and you go even further than a 3x3 point whatever. You're going 5x5 point whatever. What are we doing here?
And it's not even a goalie that you've felt out for longer than, like, he's played 7 games now, and he's already played again since he signed this contract. So, like, he'd played less for them when he...
Yeah.
Like...
It's a weird one.
I've never, like, met someone for, like, 2 weeks and then been like, yeah, I'm giving this person $25 million.
I'd like to spend the next 5 years of my life with you.
Yeah, like, like that's crazy. Like... I don't know. I just saw it and shook my head because it's like...
I actually, like, I hope it works out, not just for Colorado's sake, because I think that was kind of dumb by them, but for Mackenzie Blackwood's sake. But it just seems weird.
If this doesn't go well, I very much see Mackenzie Blackwood going the way of Mike Smith and just being like the perennial team bouncer from like A to B to C.
Does that have an NTC on it? Do we know? Back on that Puckpedia?
I'd be shocked.
I love that we still search cap friendly, even though it's dead.
I hate the Washington Capitals.
Hey, you know what, though? We can't argue with facts. And the Washington Capitals stock has gone so far up since acquiring cap friendly. It's insane.
You're not wrong.
They might win the cup because they acquired cap friendly.
I mean, it really was cap friendly.
Yeah, so I guess we can't see on there. It doesn't look like he has one. He better not. Modified no trade clause.
Whoa! What type? 6-team no trade clause. Okay, well that's not that bad.
That's not too bad. No.
No.
That's just the Canadian teams.
Yeah, I just don't want to go to Canada.
Yeah, that's exactly what that clause is.
And that's valid.
Yeah, 100%. Live your life, bro.
I wouldn't want to get paid in Canadian either. Keep that shit away from me.
Yeah. Okay. I mean,
yeah. Offering yourself to play in Canada is just like offering to take 30% less off rip.
yes.
It's like just bad
Why
economics.
would you do that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I wouldn't do it, and I'm Canadian.
Okay. Last thing. Pettersson, JT Miller. This has gone to a crazy place in the Vancouver market media world.
I didn't think it was real. Like, I know it's been at like a
know.
culminating thing for years, but I always thought it was just fans and media like just looking for something that wasn't there.
And it just seemed like not a big. It just seemed like not a big deal. And even if it was real, like there was rumblings, but not really anything solid. And then there was like the questions about the Canucks locker room when they were really bad a couple years ago now. But it was also like not. That didn't seem like the big problem in this, right?
No,
Like
and
there was
also-
management issues. The team was terrible on the ice. And the management seemed to like address it too when they like they fired the coach, they bring in Rick Tocchet, they send out the captain Horvat, they give Hughes the captaincy. It seemed like there was a big shakeup there, right?
Definitely.
And then the team was really good.
Yeah.
And now they're not. And so yes, you know, this pops up when Miller takes his leave, and the Canucks have kind of done this to themselves. I kind of believe, because they've been so difficult this year with their media, which is really bizarre.
How do you mean?
Like, there's a really good article out there on The Athletic about the Canucks media environment right now.
Okay.
It is, without a question, the softest media market it's ever been, and in Canada. The only reporters ever allowed in the room are team-hired reporters. That is rare in a Canadian market.
I straight up hate that.
They ask nothing but softball questions to the head coach, the players, and the management.
I believe it. It's their job. So
And
they're
they
paid for.
still give absolutely nothing. And so, look, I get it. We're like, it's kind of weird because we're kind of media talking about this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But like, it seems like maybe there is some bias there. But when rumors start and then spiral and then fly and then you're mad at everyone, when you don't shut things down, that's what big fan bases do.
Yeah. And I mean, they're going to talk anyways. Have you been on Reddit? Like, hello?
Thomas Drance had a good point where he was talking to I'd love to pull up the transcript. He said it on the Halford and Bruff show this week, where he said, I sat down with Elias Pettersson early this year, and it was right when the season had kind of started and he wasn't playing that well. And I said, I just said honestly, like, hey man, I have to write about this team 4 days a week. I'd love to have something from you about how you feel about where your game's at right now, or if there's things you need to work on. Like, just so that I can actually quote you on it, so I don't have to just make things up.
Yeah.
And Pettersson just straight up said, you don't need to know anything about that. And it's like, okay, cool. I guess I just have to make stuff up then.
Yeah.
Like, what do you want?
You're right. It does sound funny coming from us, media people, in a media environment.
Yeah.
But like, I hate this. And it's also not just coming from someone who works in media. I just am so concerned about the transparency of an organization when they hire only internal reporters and then give them nothing, and it feels like the questions are written for. I hate everything about that.
And then get upset when the market speculates. It's like, you should, like, honestly, especially from like upper management, Rutherford and Patrick Alvin and the owner, you should be so thankful that you have a market that cares as much about this team as they do. They fork out the $150 you guys charge for nosebleeds. It's insane.
That's crazy, by the way.
And then you act entitled about them knowing what's going on with your team. And this applies to everything this year, from Elias Pettersson to JT Miller's leave of absence that we still have no idea what it was about, or if it was a mental health leave, and then he wouldn't talk to the media about it. Quinn Hughes injury that we have no idea what's going on. It's just, well, it's week to week. Not even an upper body, lower body designation. Nothing. Your marquee player. What do you mean?
Pettersson moved to IR today. Retroactive to December 23rd. What for? Couldn't tell
Couldn't tell you. Who knows?
No clue. And then they get mad when we speculate, when anyone speculates.
It's insane too, because like other organizations, I've been looking for it, and there's like, when injury news happens, yes, sometimes teams are vague, especially around the playoffs. Things get vague around the playoffs, but that's an art of war type thing. That's different, right?
Yeah.
But like, you'll see posts from like teams like the Minnesota Wild where like they say like what the player broke, what the timeline is, who's doing the surgery, like things like that. And it's like, you just get nothing from this group, and then they're mad and snippy. Like Talkett got pissy with the media for asking about Pettersson. He was like, can you guys ask about someone else? It's like, but no, they're going to ask about your star player who's underperforming. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Do you know what city you're playing in right now?
Do you know hockey? Like, hello?
It's blowing my mind. And so finally Alvin steps out here and does an interview, right? Where he does nothing but set more flames.
Oh my God. When I read What an idiot!
And it was really uncharacteristic of him because that's been kind of the thing with Patrick Alvin. Rutherford's a gunslinger, whereas Alvin's a little bit more of a word salad, say a lot of nothing guy.
Yeah.
But then the anything is possible quote about trading Elias Pettersson. Oh. Clearly there's fire here because, I mean, you read between the lines of when they've been asked about it. Miller and PD both say, no, there's nothing. Wait. Miller said, what, you want me to bring PD out here right now and show you guys I like him? But then you listen to Miller and Hughes and talk it, and they both say, yeah, I mean, there's things we got to work on in the room. And that's captain and coach talk for, yeah, there's something here.
Yeah.
You know? And then Brad Richardson, ex-Canuck, weighs in today. You got to take it with a little bit of a grain of salt, perhaps, simply because, I mean, he didn't play a ton of games in a Canucks organization, but he's a leader.
Yeah.
He's been a leader everywhere he's been, and he did play with both of these guys. So this clip, we'll run it here, but it holds some weight to me.
Super honest with you, and I've had this, when I was in that dressing room with those guys, I love JT, love him. He's a fucking animal. But I even told him, I said, hey, you're too hard on this kid.
Yeah.
You're too hard on him. And I said, I know you're saying exactly what I think, but he's a kid that doesn't take, when you're on him, he's going to shut it down. I told him, like, hey, you're going to lose this guy if you keep doing it.
Well, you were
That's what I said to him. And hey, JT he's the man, but there is a lot of tension and something's going to give, I guarantee you. And I'm not saying you have to love every guy on your team. It helps, but something's going to give there. So we'll see.
there comes some pressure, right? And
No, 100%.
Richie, you know, I love JT Miller, and if there is a problem between the two of them, if I'm the GM, I'm trading Pettersson. I don't care what anyone says in Vancouver. I love JT Miller.
No, so, hey. Okay, so first of all, I should note that I strongly believe that Shane O'Brien's an idiot. So,
That's so valid.
listen, Shane O'Brien, if you're hearing this, I'd love to sit down and talk with you about this.
What a great way to end a terrible interview. Those are great points you made. Let me throw something stupid in there to really highlight it.
But look, I mean, Brad Richardson, he was in that dressing room. There's clearly something there. I mean, Bo Horvat weighed in as well. He said he put his, Vancouver captain flair back on it. Where, like, he didn't say anything. He just said, like, yeah, I love those guys, blah, 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 like, whatever. But
Like
17 games he played with the Canucks. Yeah. So, like, it wasn't there a long time, so you do have to take it with a bit of a grain of salt. But, like, they brought him in for that reason, to be kind of a glue guy in the room, right?
Well, and like you don't have to be anywhere long, like to get a vibe or a sense of the room.
Yeah.
You know what's up when you get there, especially when you've been around as long as he has. You can
Yes.
you can sit in the corner for half a day and just go, yeah, okay,
That's where the problem is.
I see it.
And so clearly, where there's smoke, there's fire. And the problem here comes because the Canucks aren't just like losing games, which, I mean, they are losing games. Like, I don't know about you guys, but getting shut out by the 31st team in the NHL
Oh, brother.
at home, that can't be a good thing, can it?
It ain't a good sign.
They
No.
got shut out by the Nashville Predators tonight. It's only their 4th road win of the year. So that's good. But it's really, there's like a Rick Tocchet brand of hockey, which is playing hard, right? It's heavy, hard shifts, rolling shift after shift after shift of hard physical shifts. And this team just doesn't play hard.
No. I mean, that's kind of been the issue for a while.
But it wasn't last year. That was their brand of hockey last season.
No, yeah, absolutely. I mean, like prior to that, though, it's always been a team that has
Yes.
very strong moments followed by very weak moments. It's never a consistent grind through.
Which is what leads you to the conclusion of, okay, maybe these guys don't want to play for each other.
Yeah. And I mean, you kind of have to come to that conclusion at some point.
It's
You've been
hard
through-
not to,
You've been through 3 coaches.
right?
It can't be him anymore. I refuse to see another coach go in and have them go, oh no, he just didn't win the room. It's like,
The guy who won Coach of the Year last year.
yeah, like, come on now.
I know. So
And Richardson said it best. I think we talked about this a little bit last year when it first came up, and I said, like, who cares? You don't have to like your coworkers.
Yes.
Like,
but that's the
it
thing.
helps. It's nice to go in with a smile and
Yeah.
ask how your day was and actually care, and have a good rapport with people. But like, it should have never gotten this far in the first place, because there's like, it's just one of those things where it works or it doesn't, and you move on.
Yeah.
But if it takes this long to work out, it was never going to work, and you should have smelled the coffee sooner.
Well, so my thought process on this is, though, perhaps maybe it actually wasn't at a boiling point. Like Frank Saravalli said that he doesn't understand how this became a talking point right now. Like, he doesn't think there was some incident that just happened that made this come to the forefront. But I think, like I said, like, there was so much turmoil before the Tocchet hiring.
Right.
That it was just maybe something where they didn't like each other, they didn't get along, but with everything else going on, they never had to sort it out.
Yeah, I mean, when the room smells of potpourri, you never have to really address the shit in the corner.
Exactly. And yeah, and the last year, exactly. Like, they played so well, and it was like, okay, well, then it doesn't really matter if they like each other or not.
Mhm.
And now, when things are going poorly, and this is the big thing, maybe it does mean that, like, for the first time now, they're going to have to address it.
Yeah.
And you hope that that's a good thing. Because the alternative here is for sure one of them's going.
I mean, it has to be. And
It has to be.
I don't know, even just having it get this far, it's like, grow up.
Yeah.
Like, can you work this out? If you cannot, tell me. Because we will find a better scenario for everyone.
It's
Like-
so hard. Like it's so hard finding and like reading between the lines of, is JT Miller a Nathan McKinnon emotional leader, or is he Blake Wheeler?
Yeah. And I mean, both. And some people are like that. They're polarizing people.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I get it. I'm a blunt person. The number one thing I always get critiqued with is being blunt.
Mhm.
People don't like it sometimes. It
Mhm.
hurts feelings, and it gets, noses up at a joint. But like,
You weren't blunt at all to Dave Cameron today.
yeah, I'll be more blunt with the titling of this episode too.
Yeah.
Grow up and be honest.
Yeah.
J-
Be professionals.
Yeah, be a professional.
Yeah.
And either leave it alone.
Yeah.
Clock in, clock out.
Mhm.
I'm not asking you to go over to each other's houses for Christmas.
Yeah.
Or ask for the trade.
Yeah.
Be like,
Yeah.
dog, I can't do this. This guy, get him out of here.
Yeah.
Like, I cannot.
So my final question in this, because obviously we're gonna have to revisit it as it grows.
Yeah.
So my final thought for now on it is, in the Great Canucks Civil War, which is what is happening online, who would you rather keep?
Pettersson. Easy.
Jonesy?
No question, Petey.
I'm very glad that I don't do a podcast with morons. That's all
Well,
I'm going to
thanks.
say about that.
We chose to use the smart part of our brain.
As I've said multiple times through this episode, just don't do the dumb thing.
Like, Miller is clearly the more polarizing player of the two.
Right.
And if we're going for like risk management down the line,
Yeah.
I have a lot more faith in bringing in another high-end top 3 player that will get along with Pettersson
Yeah.
rather than Miller.
Absolutely.
Like, I would certainly more lean towards Miller being a Wheeler than being.
It seems as though in this situation, he is the aggressor.
Yes.
And at the end of the day, Pettersson's contract ends at, I think, 33. Miller's ends at 37. One of them's a true center. One of them's a 100-point player. I'm sorry, give me Elias Pettersson all day. I know people are, but he didn't show up this one time in the playoffs when they've been to the playoffs twice and he was amazing in one of them and hurt in the other. Yeah, I know what you're saying. You're just all dumb. It's okay.
It's okay to not know puck sometimes. That's why you tune into this show.
Are we showing that interview?
The Brad Richardson?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dog, that was the funniest. I don't like.
What?
I could just tell
Yeah.
when this dude popped up that he was about to say some stupid shit. Like,
Yo, he's an ex Canuck. Shane
Yeah.
O'Brien, I think he went like 216 games without a goal. Like, I'm being real. He had like one of the longest streaks in Canucks history.
That's the analytic mind I want to hear from. Absolutely two-hand slob knob gobbling the JT Miller.
No, you know what? That gobsmacked me a little bit because I didn't watch that far.
I didn't either. The last one I saw was like a 30-second clip
Yeah.
of like this. I didn't know it actually went on for a full minute. I was a little bit speechless too. I was just like, oh.
Yeah, you know what? Whatever, Shane. I'll see how it is. No, I mean, you pick the younger, more elite, higher ceiling, true center.
Less
Sorry.
and less volatile.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
just you don't even have to be in the room to be able to tell which
Yeah.
one is the more calm base.
Yeah. I mean, especially you see with like Miller how it's like, oh, but he was the emotional leader last year, and it's like, yeah, but when the opposite hits, it hits hard. Like the way that we know that if they're looking to trade one of these two, they're looking at these games without them right now, right? That Miller missed a few games earlier, and Petey's missing them right now. Pettersson stepped up so hard when Miller was gone, and Miller has done nothing in Petey's absence. He had a just nothing burger game after nothing burger game. I mean,
And I mean, like, I don't know, miss me with the emotional leader thing
Yeah.
too. Like,
Yeah.
okay, a lot of guys are emotional, especially in the playoffs when this is your dream that you've
Sure.
been working for your whole life. You could get that out of anyone from the top 6 through to your bottom 6. It doesn't matter. It could be your third string defensive player.
I was about to say that's why you employ Kiefer Sherwood.
Yeah, like like the character. That's why they're called character guys.
Yeah.
Like I just see it being so much easier to find a top 3 player to play with Pettersson and have
Right.
that work than Miller. And especially like the other player you have to factor into this debate more than anything is Hughes.
Yeah.
Who's he going to thrive with? And
Right.
who's like I would be concerned about Miller over talking Hughes in the room
Sure. I'd say that's valid. Yeah.
or challenging him even.
Yeah. I'd say that's valid.
I think Petey could very well co-captain or is already.
Yeah.
I think they have a good balance there.
It seems like they do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you would think so.
Yeah.
I don't know if I really trust, that Miller can play nice.
I mean, look, from what we're hearing, the talks were heating up today on Miller to the Rangers. I don't think anything will happen till the offseason, if anything does happen. Just because I think now that it's become a thing, management's aware of it, clearly aware of it, and the media, and it seems like it's weighing on Hughes and Talkett as well. I think they're gonna give him the season to try and work it out. I'd be really surprised if they make a move like that in season. But the Rangers are really interested. They were really interested before, and the Canucks were really interested in Lafreniere before, and I think they still are.
Yeah,
Do you hate that?
I do. I do hate that. I
Yeah.
hate that entirely. I just
Come on, though. Watching the Rangers burn even more, injecting a